Hello and welcome to another class of C programming. Now, in this lecture, we are going to discuss about why recursion and memory visualization, how the memory allocation happens when we are doing recursion. Now, before moving into that, we had already seen in the previous video that what is recursion. Okay, so I'm going to repeat the same thing and then we'll cover up. So recursion is, as you can see here in the diagram itself, that if a function and the same function is written inside the body of the function, this is a recursive call, and we can simply say that the process of repeating items in a self-similar way. Now, when I say self-similar way, that means when we talk in terms of program code, that the same line of codes will be repeating. The function is going to call itself, as we can see here, this. But always remember that this function inside a function should also move forward towards the base condition. Right? In the previous video, we had a discussion about that. You can watch. So remember that not all functions written inside a function are called recursive, but a process of repeating the same or similar, self-similar way of function and which is moving in the direction of base condition is known as recursion. Now, when we say why recursion, we need to understand that because there are two ways, either we use the iterative loops or we use the recursion. Now, always understand that recursion makes a program elegant. Okay, your recursion makes program elegant. When I say elegant, that means is it looks good, and some of the problems which cannot be addressed without using recursion, they will be very typical, right? However, when we are talking about the performance measure, when performance is vital, then we should use loops instead. The reason behind that is that recursion is much slower than loops. Okay, but still we use recursion. Why? Because some of the problems, if we are talking about in terms of writing iterative loops, they will become very difficult, and we need a recursion so that in a similar manner the same function can be called again and again. And usually it comes with the search operations, it comes with the stack operations. If you want to reverse a linked list, that is a very good example of that. There you need to use the recursions. Okay, now we will be seeing some of that why this recursion is slow, and the answer lies in the memory allocation at the time of recursion. So memory allocation in recursion, when a function is called, its memory is allocated on a stack, right? We had a discussion in the previous classes also that whenever we are talking about the program, whenever there is a function call, the memory is allocated in stack. Now stack is a computing architectures in which the regions of memory where data is added or removed, they followed last in first out. I think everyone is aware of this LIFO. Okay. Now each program has a reserved region of memory referred to as its stack. When a function executes, it adds its state data to the top of the stack. And when the function exists, and when the function is called, then after that, when function exits, this data is removed from the stack. Now, I would like to show what happens when we have two functions in our stack. So let's consider that this is our memory stack. Okay, this is I'm talking about. This is my memory stack. And suppose I have two functions, function 1 and rather I should not write it in back brackets. Let's say I have function 1, fun1 and fun2. I have two functions. Now what will happen in this memory stack, that the function 1, now maybe there are certain data members which are already in the program. We are only talking about two functions which we have written. So what will happen, this whole function has its own things. I'm talking about here function 1. Okay. Now the function have any data, then we have some your local variables. Here we are talking about data, I'm writing in shorts, and then we have certain parameters, and then we can have the return address or something like that. So this first function is written over here, and when we have another function in my program, there will be the stack of the program. So my func2 will be written over here with the same type of data elements, if like what data we have, what are the local variables we have, what parameters we have, and what is the return address or return type. Okay, likewise the stack is formed. This is the illustration of memory stack whenever we are talking about the function call. Now a recursive function calls itself, so the memory of the called function is allocated on the top of the memory allocated for calling the function. That is, if I am talking about that this function 1 is my recursive, is a function which is called recursively, then what will happen for the same function, the recursive call, that means there will be one parent function who is going to call the function again recursively, then the above is allocated on the calling function. Like this is the calling function, suppose, and this one is the for the called function. Now the calling and called function will be of same type because it is the recursive in nature, the same type of elements are there. Now different copy of local variables are created for each function. Now suppose recursively 10 times if we have this recursive call, so in the stack there will be 10 allocations, and every time the local variables, they will be different. Okay, different for every function. Now what will happen, that the function is going to the number of functions on the stack top is going to increase according to the function calls, and recursively when we reach towards the base condition, then it is going to return the resultant to the previous function who has called it, and the memory deallocation will start, and the process continues until the parent function is returned. Okay, now by this let us see one example of let's say I'm saying that this is my stack structure again. Okay, this is my stack structure. Now in this stack, suppose I have called a function which is recursive for factorial, and let's say my n is 5 over here. So what will happen, as of now in the stack, my fact 5, that means all the variables related to it, all the parameters which we have declared here in the function definition, they will be kept in the stack, and now this function denotes the top of the stack. Okay, this is what we're talking. Now further, whenever we have because it is a recursive, so this function is going to call to fact 4. Now what will happen, this comes over the stack, all the related local variables and everything will be, and now my top goes here from here. Now I'm removing this, now my top is this. Further, this is going to call fact 3 in order to move towards the base condition. So in the stack, my factorial 3 will be here, and now my top is moving here. Okay, so I'll be removing it. Fine. Then further, because we are still moving towards the fact 2, then we have on the top this fact 2. Now it will become my top of the stack, and this is no longer the top. Okay, now the last, which is the base condition, that we have fact 1, and this will become the top of my stack now. Okay, and fine. So up till now what we have seen is that the different copy of local variables is created for each function call, and when the base case reach, so this is the location where my base case reached, that fact 1 is on the top of the stack, and here we have received. Now the function start returning its value to the function it was called from. That means this fact 1 is now going to return the value to its parent function or the function who has called it, and its memory is deallocated. Once it returns the value to fact 2, what will happen here, again we will be having a reverse chaining order, that from this the fact inside this is now removed, and further in the step, what happened, where is the, okay, now my top becomes fact 2. Further what will happen, this fact 2 is going to return to fact 3. Now it returns what? It returns the resultant of this function which was dependent on earlier return value from the iter. So it is going to again deallocate. Now deallocation means now my top position is moving from this to somewhere else. Now I'm going to remove it again. Okay, it's not fine. Now coming back, now my top is this. Later it is going to return to the fact 3 to fact 4. The value will be returned to the above function, and memory is to be deallocated. Now whenever I say deallocated, that means we are going to remove from the stack Okay, now my top of the stack is this. Fine. Then further we have return value from the fact4, and what will happen? The memory deallocation will happen here. This is removed and it will now again become my top. So this is removed. Now we have the final function call, which is going to return the resultant of overall this recursive process. Okay, so it will provide me the result, and once the function exits, then what will happen? It will return, and the overall memory allocation for this function, this is completely removed from the program memory stack. Okay, that will be happening. So this is what we have seen. Now you can understand when we have recursive call. Now we have just displayed for 5 elements, like value of n5. Now if it is more, that means how many times you have to recursively call the same function. It is going to use more amount of memory from the memory stack, and that is why it makes the process slow. So that's all as of now. Some more concepts we will be seeing in the next class. Thank you so much.